We are here with Chris Justice, who is the CEO of Pavilion Payments. And when Chris was with us last G2E, he was the head of payments, payments for Global Payments, a multi-billion-dollar international giant. And Chris, I guess the first question is, what's different in life running a small independent company as opposed to being a small division of a huge international company?
You bet. Well, there's, needless to say, there's quite a bit of difference between and while we're still a relatively a big company, certainly a small company compared to Global Payments, really it's allowed us to do a lot of the things that we've long wanted to do, but being under a Fortune 500 company does provide a lot of restrictions, especially in the gaming space, where the expansion of licensing and regulation and all of those things really kind of dominate the landscape. But now we've also really put a strong focus in and around the convergence of kind of consumer trends and how that's impacting the gaming industry. It's also very much a thought process in and around optimization of a variety of things, driving increased efficiencies, which ultimately can help to drive increased gross gaming revenue for our customers. So we're really looking at a lot of fun and exciting things that we're able to do now that we're a lot faster and more nimble.
A year ago, where were you on the pecking order of a big company? Now you are the pecking order.
We are the pecking order, yes sir, yes sir.
There's a lot of change happening technologically everywhere, of course. Mm-hmm. And in the gaming industry, we talk about artificial intelligence, we talk about cybersecurity, which for a payments company I should think is of an interest. And as a part of a huge multi-billion-dollar corporation, you had the resources to deal with those things. Mm-hmm. Now you've got to deal with them on your own. Tell us, do you have the resources to do that? How are you going to be able to address those kinds of issues?
That's a great question, but part of it is, as a payments organization, we have deep-seated expertise in all of those. The payments world has been far more focused on data security as a whole than most any other industry, because we had to go through and protect the commerce infrastructure for the globe, and therefore that translates from organizations like ours out to edge organizations like casino gaming. So we've had a deep expertise in that area. Needless to say, it's table stakes for us. So we can't be in business and can't operate without driving those same sets of resources. So in this case, as we've separated from Global Payments, those components of the organization that previously were provided by Global are things that we've brought in-house now, and really done a tremendous job on hiring just incredible talent in a variety of different areas. Over the course of the last 6 months or so, we've increased the size of our organization by more than 30%. We've been able to achieve certification for Great Places to Work by putting programs that matter for our people, which certainly helps us with our recruiting. And consequently, we think that's kind of a core strategy going forward as well, because we take care of our people will take care of our customers, and ultimately our customers will take care of us.
Where do the finances come for growth?
This organization, since I got here in 2017, we have self-funded all of our initiatives. So we are a very strong, stable organization, and we use the cash flow from operations to fund all of our innovations. And frankly, even as a division of Global Payments, and even extending that now, we continue to have a real focus on innovation, and we drive a lot of tremendous changes in terms of how we would go about thinking about engaging the consumer on a way that makes our solutions more appropriate for them. Because ultimately, at least in our view, if the consumer doesn't buy in and adopt, we're all kind of wasting our time. So we spend a lot of time focusing on you individually. Frank, what do you want to see? How can we provide you with a better service, and therefore that will allow you to entertain?
When you say me individually, you're talking about the end user,
consumer.
Not the casino customer, but the casino's customer.
Correct. We really focus on making sure that we're delivering incredible services to the guest. Therefore, the guest is going to be more inclined to want to do things with the casino.
One of the things question's going to be raised with any company is its corporate future. And now that you're an independent company, do you just grow organically? Do you participate in M&A and maybe acquire some folks, maybe some tuck-ins? Do you look to IPO someday?
It's, I think our core focus right now is really around execution, making sure that we are delivering high quality services to our casino customers. That would come in both the traditional services that we provided as well as the new innovations that we're launching. Ultimately, Parthenon Capital, who is the organization that's behind us, typical portfolio company has about 8.6 acquisitions over the course of their lifespan. So certainly there are a number of targets that we are currently looking at, but day in and day out, our focus is really on executing and making sure we're delivering for our casino customers today. And if any of those things happen along, then fantastic. But we've really got to focus on today and on what we're doing.
And what's the differentiator between you and your competitors?
That's a good question. I think the biggest area of focus for us is making sure that we deliver the things that we talk about. You can come by our booth at G2E, and the things that you see on the floor are working in live locations, delivering results. We don't talk about things that are going to be some PowerPoint that one day is going to look like what we talk about. It is really around execution, because we look at it through our customer's lens. They don't make money on PowerPoints, and we don't either. Therefore, we are solidly aligned on helping our casino customers achieve the destination that they are looking for, which is, right, how do I make sure that Frank has a great time when he's in my casino? How do I help him enjoy his experience and drive gross gaming revenue growth? And that's kind of the area that we feel differentiates us probably more than anything else. And I think the next biggest category is just in and around innovation. The solutions that we deliver are very different in the fact that they are based on leveraging the infrastructure of the casino as it sits, which then helps us to minimize change management for their organizations, helps them balance and reconcile easier, and also allow them to deliver just much better guest experiences. So we think we do some things that are pretty right, and fortunately we've got a bunch of good customers who would agree.
It sounds pretty much like it's steady sailing, full steam ahead kind of thing, not so much a radical change because Dad's not there anymore.
Oh, absolutely. Well, because at the end of the day, payments is a highly regulated world. Gaming adds a whole nother level of complexity to that. So it's really hard to race ahead and do things that are radically different. However, part of what we're trying to do is really look at consumer trends and where things are going. So to use Wayne Gretzky's comment, right, we try to skate to where the puck is going, not to where it is. And that is allowing us to deliver some things that are I would say, very evolutionary for the gaming business. And we're really excited about all the things that are coming along.
I don't think Wayne Gretzky ever thought that he was a philosopher, but he sure gets quoted a lot.
Well, that's a great quote, isn't it?
We'll get, you've mentioned several times the kinds of things that we'll see at your booth, and we'll get that to that specifically in a second. But one specific product area I did want to discuss was cashless, because that's something that has been ballyhooed for a long time, and it's been fairly slow for casinos to adopt. How's that going, and how is your particular product doing?
Yeah, and that's a good question, because I think the overall, we're still in the early adopter phase of a traditional bell-shaped curve on product development. And I think part of it is there's just a lot of confusion in the market because of the different options that are available, and a lot of them, they are radically different. And I think organizations have seen some miss starts and therefore get a little bit scared in terms of wanting to make those kinds of investments that don't necessarily yield positive results. However, I think we've done some things that are again differentiated from everybody else. Our solution is based on the casino's trusted ticketing system, and what that effectively does is it allows the casino to operate the way it operates today. It allows regulation to operate the way it is, so therefore easier for organizations to adopt. And from a consumer perspective, it's very focused on the user experience and very easy for a guest to adopt. And so we've seen tremendous uptake from consumer usage and adoption over time. Part of what we are launching here at G2E as well is a solution that frankly takes cashless into looking like any other transaction that you would conduct at any other restaurant, retail, et cetera. Very fast, very efficient, no apps, no enrollments, none of the hoops and hullabaloo that you typically have to go through. And we think that's also one of the things that is going to change the way this industry thinks about cashless. Because at the end of the day, there are 700 million mobile users that spent $6 trillion in 2022. So it's not like customers don't desire to do this. Just for the most part, they probably haven't had an experience that would be compelling in the gaming space to make that happen, and we're changing that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because I think just from a user's perspective, the solutions sound great from the salesman perspective, but then you get to that user in the seat in front of the slot machine or wherever it may be, and it's a little complicated.
Absolutely, and we spent more than a year with Apple and Google UI UX folks to really boil things down, because it is how you label the buttons. It's the fact that when you're talking mobile, right, the expectation is I will get the result I expect when I push a button, and without really paying attention to what truly does a consumer expect when they push a button, it can lead to a lot of missteps. Like a lot of the popular apps that you see out there today, you push the slot machine button and here's a description of what a slot machine is, and maybe it shows various kinds that are on the floor, but yet if you really go talk to a customer to say, well, why are you pushing that button? Well, I think that's the button I push to play a slot machine. So we spent a lot of time doing that kind of research to make sure that what you expect is what you get when you interact with the app. So it makes it far more intuitive, far more Amazon or Uber-like than some of the others that are more complex.
Okay, finally, on to the subject.
Yes.
G2E, you've got a booth with lots of stuff in it. What must people see?
Oh yeah, shoot. There are a lot of really unique things at G2E that I think are fantastic. Probably the top three in my mind is our iGaming orchestration platform that allows our sports betting, iGaming, iLottery customers to have far greater control and capability through their cart. We've got tremendous momentum being built relative to integrating that solution, and I think that's going to help folks to optimize their P&L and do a far better job of engaging consumers in the digital world. In the physical world, VIP mobility, we are taking that to another level whereby it is Apple Pay enabled, but again, no app, no enrollment. We take the entirety of the customer journey to seconds in terms of doing a transaction. So while a lot of organizations will talk about the time to play should be under a minute or whatever the conclusion is, they don't include all of the time it takes to enroll and get started. We take the entire thing down to seconds. And then the third thing on my mind is really a mobile jackpot capability, which is really built around an enterprise-grade platform so the casino can deploy their own apps and engage the customer where they are, as opposed to having to force them into lines and queues and all of that. And our solution, though, we're launching that with a mobile jackpot capability, which then dramatically optimizes the time and enables you to get back to your game much more quickly, all the while filing all the necessary reports and tax forms and fully engaging the guest while they sit, and dropping the time on that by minutes.
Okay, great. Good overview, Chris.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing those products. Anything else you would like folks to know about Pavilion?
I think we've covered a lot of things. It's a really great, always great to see you, great conversation,
Always
and
great to see you.
thoroughly enjoy our time together. But I guess the big thing, just come on out and check us out, 4411.
Okay, we will do it.
Awesome.
Right. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you so much, Frank.